Well, hey guys, I've had a lot of requests for this video, and today is going to be the perfect day. It's an indoor project kind of day. We've got sleet and ice falling down outside. No one can drive anywhere. Don't really advise climbing a tree today, so we're going to do an indoor project. A lot of people have asked me to show a video on how I build my openable bridges. Okay, and if I'm known for anything in the saddle world, aside from my one-sticking videos, it is my absolute disdain for a non-openable bridge. I can't fathom the thought of stepping through a saddle or pulling it over my head. It's just, to me, ridiculous. Okay, so I don't own a saddle. I've got 6 or 7 of them, a couple more on the way that I'm going to be playing with this summer. I don't own a saddle that I can't do that with, that I cannot unclip from one side and clip over. The reason why is because when I get back to the truck at the end of the hunt, I literally undo my leg belts, take my saddle, and I take it off that way. No stepping through it, no pulling it over. If you want to know how to build an openable bridge, stick with us. We're going to walk you through it step by step today. A lot of ways to skin a cat. I'm going to show you how I do it. I think you'll really enjoy this one. Well, hey guys, let's start off with a quick little materials checklist here. I think you're going to be shocked at how simple and easy this project is. It's tying a couple knots, which I'm going to walk you through step by step. We'll give you close-ups of the knots as I do them. You know, a lot of videos on the internet, on YouTube, and, you know, they do a knot really quickly, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what did you just do? We're going to slow down and show you everything in detail. So this is going to be super simple for you guys. I want to explain it to you just as if I wanted it explained to me. Again, I think you're going to be shocked. It doesn't take a whole lot here. We're going to leave a link in the description below to every single thing that we use in this project. And I start off with a Fusion auto-locking carabiner. Now, I'm not huge on auto-locking carabiners. You've seen my videos in the past with the, you know, what's my gear list for one sticking, all that. I use a lot of Petzl OK carabiners. They're a screw lock gate. But I do really prefer the auto-locking carabiner for my bridge. And the reason why is I can twist it with my thumb and forefinger and then clip it on my bridge, and when I let go, it's on. I don't have to worry about, did I screw my gate closed? Is it going to pop open? This is so bulletproof as far as a carabiner goes on my bridge. I just really super like it. This one is really, really light. I can weigh it for you here in a little bit. It's probably just a 1/10 or 2 of an ounce. It really doesn't add much in the way of bulk or well, it's a little bulkier than a traditional knot might be, but the convenience it gives you is so well worth it. But a Fusion auto-locking carabiner, it's $12.58, guys, off Amazon. $12.58. Again, we'll leave you the link here below. A 3-foot length of 6mm TRC. So 3 foot long, TRC, 6mm, and we're going to use that for a friction hitch that attaches to our bridge and run bridge loop rather. And we're going to run our actual bridge through the friction hitch created with this 6mm TRC. Then we have 4 foot of 8mm RescTech. I've been using it for several years, going on my 5th year of using RescTech as a bridge. It really works out well. It's got a very good sheathing on it that's very abrasion resistant to sliding through a carabiner. Just very good. 4 foot of 8mm RescTech costs $7.16. If you're wondering about the TRC, it was $3.87. Again, this isn't going to cost you a whole lot, guys. The shipping to get these products will probably cost more than the products themselves, to be honest with you. And then lastly, you can run to your local Ace Hardware store, get 3/8 inch heat shrink tube. It's $2.99. Or if you really want to step it up, what I really recommend, you go to Amazon, then this is $13.99, but this is marine grade heat shrink tube, and it has an adhesive inside of it. And that's what all the guys that are doing this professionally, or, you know, sell it, you know, secondhand through a retail environment or direct to consumer. This is sort of what they're using. You get 20 foot of it for $13.99 versus you can see how much more there is in a package for $2.99 at Ace Hardware, $13.99. You get 20 foot of it from Amazon. And it works both equally as well on the 6mm or 8mm. So if you're planning on making linemen's or tether belts or anything in the future, or split it with a buddy, whatever. But the big difference is this is adhesive lined, It's marine grade, it's waterproof. It really locks on well to the end caps of your rope when you get through doing everything. And we're going to show you the way I do it is I build everything, have all the big tag ends left over, then I can cut whatever tag end left I want and then cap it. It comes out really clean looking. You don't have to worry about trying to slide and dress up a knot until the end. Just build it where a tag end's left and then cut it and cap it. It works out really, really nicely. You know, a lighter, a razor blade to cut your ropes with and burn your heat shrink tube with. I've got a heat gun that I use occasionally. I'm just going to show it to you in this video with a lighter. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible, guys. That's really it. So again, we're going to have all this in the description. Let's get started. Let's make this a good, really explanatory video so there's no questions. We'll show you close-ups. Here we go. Okay guys, what we're going to do is we're going to break this video into chapters to make it really easy for you to come back and look at any section that you need extra help with, or if you get distracted, dinner comes along, you need to set the project aside, then come back and work on it later. Even though it's not going to take very long, it's just make it easier to come back and really learn it. And we're going to have a chapter breakdown in the description below. You can go directly to whatever section or chapter you want to. But let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 1 is going to be attaching your bridge to the Fusion auto-locking carabiner. That's the part that's going to allow you to open it up and come back, and obviously it's the one that's supporting your weight in the tree, so we want to make sure we have the right knot tied. The knot that I always use to attach my bridge to my auto-locking carabiner is a scaffold knot. So let's go ahead and show you real quickly how I tie those and make sure that there's no mistakes, no room for error in this. We got our length of RescTech. I said 4 foot will work. I might have 4.5 or 5 foot. I don't know. I just have a scrap piece here. But 4 foot will definitely be enough. We're going to take a tape measure, just a handy old retractable tape measure. We're going to measure out 20 inches. 20 inches is going to be our tag end. We don't need the tape measure anymore. I'm going to set that aside. And then we're going to fold it or make a bite right there and leave that 20-inch tag on top. I like to put the tag on top. You'll see here the expanse or the length of the rope down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that bite or that fold or that bend in the rope about middle of my hand, grab around it to hold it in place and extend my forefinger, and that's what I'm going to use to tie my scaffold knot with. I'm going to start working this or looping it around, wrapping it around back toward my elbow or back toward my wrist. And you'll see how we do that. We're going to make 3 twists or turns around my forefinger. So let's go fold it once, twice, 3 times. Then we're going to bring my finger out, which is going to leave a hole there. We're going to take the tag in. You'll see we ate up that 20 inches really quickly. Then we're going to shove that rope through the 3 twists or 3 loops of rope and start pulling it tight. And you'll see it tighten up as I pull the correct piece of rope here and the tag end. You'll see it starting to tighten up and close in on itself. Then with this, we have this huge loop here. That's actually where our carabiner is going to go. I can close that by pulling the long length. Almost operates a little bit like a hangman's noose. It's going to really tighten up, very tight upon itself. Take your carabiner, open it up. It really doesn't matter how you do this as far as if you do it left or right. But then we're going to pull that rope tight so that it tightens up around that carabiner. Again, one of my goals here is I want to make sure these coils, these loops, tighten up on the rope itself, not the carabiner. So I'm going to keep working with them, get them tight, then pull the rope tight. But I want these coils behind the carabiner so that they're locking down on the rope itself, just leaving a little loop for the carabiner to sit in. And I like to keep working at it, dressing up the loops, making sure they're nice and tight. Pulling it, leave a good little bit of tag end out. Again, if we wanted to cut a little, this rope, this knot will do nothing but get stronger and tighter upon itself. If you guys watched my video, One Sticking to Details, where I first went over how to tie a scaffold knot, I took one that I'd rappelled off of for probably a month or two. It was so tight after that month, I had to get a screwdriver, physically work, and I had to do it, I had to loosen it off camera to get it to undo itself. I can tell you this knot is already tight, and it will do nothing but just get super, super tight and tighter and tighter. So that is the knot that we're going to use to affix our carabiner onto our bridge. So we're done with that part right there. Okay guys, step number 2 in this process that I like to do when I'm building the bridge is I want to build my Schwabisch hitch, and that's the hitch that I'm actually going to run my bridge through. So I'm going to use my 6mm TRC, and again, if you're not familiar with friction hitches and the way they work on a climbing rope or a rope in general to grab, typically you want the cordage or your accessory rope or your friction hitch to be 60 to 80% smaller than your main diameter rope. So 6mm on an 8mm is 75% smaller. So this is what we're going to use. I can tell you I've built several bridges on these. It does nothing but just hold like a rock. I mean, it's just an awesome little accessory rope to use on 8mm. So what I like to do is I take a length about that long. Let's just give you, because you know, again, people want to kind of know exactly if you're following along. I'm going to take about 24 inches here of a tag end. So about 24 inches I'm going to leave. And I'm just going to grab my main bridge line here, and I'm going to take about 24 inches, and I'm going to start wrapping up toward my carabiner. That's going to be important. I'll show you why here in a second. So all I've done is, again, I'm taking my 6mm rope, took about 24 inches of tag end left here and sticking out. I'm going to put that amount underneath the rope, and I'm going to wind or loop around 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 coils. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 coils over. I'm going to come back underneath this main line, underneath, over my main rope here, and then through that loop that I just formed. And then dress it up and tighten it up. And that is it. A lot of people are very familiar with a Prusik knot. It's just sort of, I know some mountaineering guy's going to kill me for saying this, right? It's sort of a modified Prusik, all right? It's a Schwabisch hitch. You've got 4 loops on this side over here, 1 here. You can see this is what the back end looks like. Okay, and the reason we did it because it is a directional knot in my mind, okay? Meaning that once we attach this to our saddle, if you want to give yourself more bridge length, if you want to adjust it, this makes it an adjustable bridge. Not only is it openable, it's adjustable. So we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. But if you want to pull it this way, it's super simple to do against that Schwabisch, okay? If this is attached to your saddle and you're hanging, you don't want that thing to slip as easily as it slips this way. Okay, that's the reason we wrap toward the carabiner. So all we've got to do now is we've got to figure out how to attach this part to our saddle. That will be chapter number 3. But again, let's go over this. We've got it a directional Schwabisch with all your wraps going toward their carabiner. That way, if you want to lengthen the bridge, it slides easy. If you want to, once we attach this to our saddle and you're putting your weight on the bridge, it doesn't give. You can say I'm pulling hard. If it slipped, I'd fall back and hit myself on the counter. It's really a nice little friction hitch to do that, to make it really adjustable, but doesn't give. So again, we'll show you that again real quick. Let me break it out, tear this knot apart. We're going to start fresh. We have basically about 24 inches in my right hand. Your left as you're looking at it on camera. I'm going to hold this knot out. I'm going to hold it hold this line out rather. I'm going to take my accessory cord, the 6mm TRC, go underneath, and it's just sitting there as a cross. I'm going to pick up the tag end, come over 1, 2. I'm just going to adjust my hand so I can hold it tighter. 3, 4 times. So we've made 4 loops or 4 coils around the main line. I'm going to go underneath this main line with a tag end here. I'm going to wrap over the big rope, the 8mm, and come through the hole I just created and pull it tight. Dress up that knot, pull it tighter. I like to have all the coils about the same. Sometimes it takes wiggling a little bit and getting it down. Slide that together. That's what it looks like on the back. That's what it looks like on the front. You'll see I can slide it this way super easy. Once I reach back here, it's not going anywhere on that side. So that's how we create a Schwabisch hitch. That's the friction hitch we're going to use on the side that allows this bridge to be super adjustable, but at the same time hold once I put weight on it. Okay guys, a couple things before we move on to the next section of tying the Schwabisch hitch, actually, and fixing it to the saddle, tying it onto the saddle bridge, is I know I'm going to have a couple people, kind of question my, me pulling on this way and sliding it this way. So I did want to show you here, I'm pulling as hard as I can this way, and if I reverse it and pull as hard as I can this way, watch this. See that? Slid right up there, even pulling from way back here, because I know someone was going to say, well, of course it'll move when you put it up here. Well, it won't move that way, and this way it actually acts as a tending device. It will tend itself up the rope when you pull it that way. That's why I say it's a directional knot, because you don't want that sliding that way when you're hanging in a tree, obviously, right? So speaking of tending devices, now I'm not going to show attaching a tender to this, but there are ways you can do that. Again, here's one of my saddles. Obviously I run a lot of TX5 saddles. Matthew Tompkins built this one for me, and he put a tending device built it into the bridge here. So you can see it kind of comes in right behind here, just fits right snugly over an 8mm rope here with this RescTech bridge, and then when you start pulling it this way, now when it was new, it would tend that hitch right up that way you want to. I will tell you that the reason I didn't make a big deal about being an adjustable bridge right up front, even though that is a feature that will occur as a byproduct of the way we're going to build this bridge here, is once I get my bridge locked into place, or I don't move my bridge in and out. A lot of people say, well, you're a one sticker, don't you shorten it way up to one stick? No, I don't. I run a fairly short bridge all the time anyway. With Matthew's HPR system and his TX5 saddles, I don't really experience any hip pinch. I can run a pretty short bridge. I don't adjust it in and out. So you can see this sucker, this is the saddle that I hunt. There's no telling how many hundreds of climbs I have on this saddle right here. This is one of the first ones that Matthew ever built for me, and I've got a lot of climbs on it. That Schwabisch hitch that he built for me here is locked down tight. I mean, it would take a lot to move that. I mean, that's had a lot of climbs on it right there. I just don't move it back and forth. But I wanted to show you, the main reason I brought this one out is I wanted to show you is you can put a little tending device. He's just got a girth hitched around here, and it goes right over that. So if you're worried about, if you're somebody who wants to move it in and out all the time, if you did that every hunt, it wouldn't get locked down like that. I probably haven't moved that or adjusted that bridge in 3 or 4 years, and it's got a lot of hunts on it, so it's not gonna move without some effort. So I want to show you those two things. One is that it absolutely is a directional knot. If you pull, see, it's going that way, it will not move that way. So that's the reason we did that. And then you can put a tender on it, and we can show that. You can come back and look at that again when we're finished of how that would work if you want to do that to yours. I just don't really, frankly, I just don't adjust my bridge after I get it set where I want it. So let's move on and show you how to affix this to a saddle. Okay guys, we're to the point where we want to attach this bridge that we've just kind of constructed here. We've got the openable carabiner attached or affixed with a scaffold knot. We've got our Schwabisch hitch, which is going to, that's going to allow us to attach it to the saddle. It's also going to allow some adjustability, as we just talked about, until you get it locked down in place. So here's what we're going to do. I have a brand new Trophy Line covert light here. Going to use it for a future video that I'm excited about making at some point. Won't give away the concept or topic of that, because then somebody might try to make it ahead of me. You know how those YouTubers are. But I'm excited about this saddle for a couple different reasons. But And it did come with an openable bridge. Trophy Line sends it with an openable bridge just like I prefer, okay? It was just one of the few saddles, it was the only saddle I had here that I didn't have one of my bridges on it already. It was easy to remove, and we'll put it back on for that video. So what we're going to do is, and here's what I like to do, guys. I like my bridge affixed or attached permanently on my right side. That way I take my right hand, which is my strong hand, and I can clip it on over here to the left side of the bridge, as you saw in the very introductory clip that started this whole video off. If I was left-handed, I'd probably do it the other way around. But a lot of times, you know, I've got my bow in my left hand, rather, holding it. But it's more so, it's just a strong hand kind of thing. I would just like to unclip it and clip it over there. So we're going to, for me being a right-hander, I like to tie my Schwabisch hitch around my saddle, my bridge loop here on the right side. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 strands of the Schwabisch hitch that we've got here, and I'm going to run one around the bridge loop and bring it back together. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I like to start with my tag end that I'm going to be working with above the lower one, almost like we were doing when we did the Schwabisch earlier on, or the scaffold rather. Okay, and I'm going to start with it up here, and we're going to show you this from a couple different angles. So, because I know this is going to be probably one of the more confusing parts, this is one of the harder ones to follow, is because we want to make absolutely sure that this gets locked onto this bridge. But we're going to start with it up high, up top. We're going to come over, go under, and then come back over. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you almost a figure 8 design here. And we're going to take this tag end, go all the way under and around the whole 2 ropes that are here. So go bring it up. So we've got this figure 8. We're going to go under all the way around both of them, and then come back through the figure 8 that's made. And I've kind of lost my figure 8 here, so let me kind of start over here. So I've got over, under, over, back around, and then I'm going to go through underneath that figure 8 and pull it tight. That's going to make a double overhand knot here. And once I pull it tight, I can slide it down to here. So now I'm going to reverse the process, and we're going to show you that again here in a little bit. I'm going to flip it, reverse the process. I'm going to go over, under, over. I've made my figure 8. I'm going to take this tag and go all the way underneath both of those, back through the X that is on the top of that 8. This one I've got a little less tag end to work with, so it's a little harder. When I pull that through, now I've got a double overhand knot around both ropes on this side. Then all I've got to do is slide this together, and those knots will do nothing more. It's almost like a scaffold knot, except for they're 2 butting up against each other. It's called a double fisherman's knot. Those will double up together, and they will butt against each other, and you can see they're going to make 4 coils, and they're going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. That's how we have just attached the Schwabisch hitch to my bridge. Obviously I've got a long tag end that I will clip off, but I can adjust it easily this way, clip it on, tend it down to whatever I want. But I've got a bridge here that is openable and adjustable, and we're going to show you again. The only thing left to do is we're going to trim off this length. This is why I said you don't need very much rope here. We're going to trim this off to make sure that I don't need any more. We'll show you how to tie a double stopper knot in the end of it, and show you how to use the heat shrink to trim up the ends. But guys, that's pretty much it. We're going to go in detail though. I'm going to show you again really slowly how to tie this double fisherman's knot that's right here. This is what secures it to the saddle, is this double fisherman's knot. We're going to go step by step through that again really slowly. Okay guys, we've got our Schwabisch hitch here with our 2 tag ends coming off. All we've done is just laid our saddle down here on the table on our workspace, and I'm going to take 1 tag end under and 1 tag end over the bridge loop so that we can affix it to the bridge loop. And again, I like to start, when I take my 2 tag ends, I like to start with 1 above, just kind of the way I've learned how to tie this knot. Let me make sure that I'm getting it right in the middle for you here. And you're basically looking over my shoulder right now. So I like to start over, and then I come with it on top, and I come over, under. I'm going to give myself a little bit more working area, and then I come back over, and see how we've made a figure 8? Let's do that again. I take the tag ends, I start with the top one on top of this rope, I come over, under, and over, and I've kind of made a figure 8 here. Okay, now I'm going to take this tag end and I'm going to capture both, and this is important, very important. Capture both, don't capture just one, capture both of those ropes coming out. And now all I'm going to do is take this tag end and run it underneath that X that's in the middle of that 8. So I can actually pick it up, run that tag end through that X. When I get it on through there, I'm going to take it and then pull, and you'll see it starting to tighten up into a double overhand knot. Okay. Now I'm just going to flip it so I can manipulate these two ropes, because I like to do it from the same side. I've got what I'm going to work with on top. I'm going to go over, under, and back over. I've done the exact same thing again. I've got that figure 8. Now I'm going to capture both of these ropes. Again, that's the important part. Capture both of those. Don't go. So see, I'm coming around both. See how this tag end went around both ropes? It's easy to go through them and mess it up. Don't go through. Go around and capture both. Now I've captured both. I can just go under that X, pull it tight. And again, I've got another double overhand knot here. Now all I've got to do is grab bottom of those both and pull those together. Watch them slide together. I've got my double fisherman's knot. So that's how we attach it to the bridge. Attach to your bridge to the bridge loop is with a double. So you can actually, right now it hasn't seated itself. You can actually pull it apart. But if I grab that, it will pull together, and then the tighter I pull, the harder that knot is going to cinch up, and it'll eventually get to where you won't even be able to undo it hardly, unless you have a screwdriver or something. Okay guys, so we've worked with these longer tag ends, so that gives us, plenty of options here to how do we make our loops and stuff like that. So obviously this one's good enough. You can see I actually like the way that came out. What I'm going to do is duplicate that on this end. So I'm going to take my razor blade here. So I'm just going to take it like this, and you'll see how sharp that was. That was a pretty quick little cut right there. And then this is my 3/8 inch tube. This is my marine grade, the one that I bought off Amazon here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to approximate about how long that is. Take it with a pair of scissors. You can see that's close to about the same length. I'm going to put it over this. And this is the one that has the adhesive inside of it. And you can just hold a lighter onto it, and you can just watch it start shrinking down. If you have I do have a heat gun. I mentioned that, heat gun's probably a little safer, a little more distributed heat, but again, a 97-cent Bic lighter will work just as well. We kind of want to show you this without as many fancy tools as we can. Show you that you can absolutely do this at home yourself. And I can see the adhesive all melting inside of it and bonding to the rope. It's waterproof. It'll stick really well. So now we've got a really nice finished double fisherman's knot here. And what I'm going to do, again, we've got a lot of excess tag end here on our bridge. And I'm just going to I know I'm never going to have more bridge than that, ever, right? That's a long bridge for me. So I'm going to come back to about here. I'm going to take my microtome blade or my razor blade, slice it off so you can see how much I cut off that. Again, I'm going to cut about an inch or so here, slip it over the end of my bridge. Okay, so one important step left to do in this process, and that's tie a stopper knot. If for some reason your bridge gets to slipping through, you don't want that to slip on out. Your life is hanging there by the balance, right? So we definitely want to tie a stopper knot here. Okay, there's a couple ways to do it. A lot of people tie a double overhand stopper knot where they go through like this, and then they go through again, and it makes just a quick little double overhand stopper knot. Here's the way I like to do it. I like to put two fingers out, and I wrap 3 times. If I've got enough, I may actually have to start here. So I go 1, 2, I'm going to need more. 1, 2, 3. Now I can come back through. I want to come back through all 3 of those knots. And I want to slide that stopper knot close to the end. That's my style. I like that because it leaves this rope going the same direction. Now I can go back. I've got plenty enough bridge. You may want to think about how much rope you're going to use up in your stopper knot when you make your cut. I don't run a very large bridge anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. But that's actually about what I'm going to run right there. So when I unclip from one side and clip to the other, I don't have a large tag end hanging back here anywhere. Okay guys, at the beginning we talked about there are many ways to skin a cat, right? The way I showed you how to do that in this video, how to build an openable bridge, isn't the only way to do it. Here's the way that Trophy Line does it. They put a Prusik on here with their Carabiner up here, and then what they're doing is they're going to girth hitch through here. You could tie a figure 8 on a follow through if you couldn't sew that sewn eye, right? But they're girth hitching that loop around, and then they use this to adjust, and this is what they're clipping onto here. So this is certainly one way to do it, and then that way you don't have to tie the double fisherman's knot around the bridge like I showed you how to do in this video. The difference is your tag end is over here on the left. It works equally as well. If this is easier for you, I showed you how to do pretty much every step along the way. Plenty of videos on the web about how to do a figure 8 on a follow through. I'll have one coming up here soon, shortly, showing you how to make a cost-effective lineman belt and tether. But this is certainly one way to do it, that you just girth hitch that loop around, put your Schwabisch hitch or Prusik in this case around here, and then they just clip to this side with a tag end on the left. I just prefer not to have the tag end out here. I want the tag end on this side, and then just clip straight to it with my rope coming off of the carabiner. So just another way to do it. And then there's one more that we'll show you real quickly. This is a new saddle that I'm playing with that was built specifically for me, obviously with Predator Fall Gray, right? And this is a custom CGM, one of their brand new offerings on the market. I believe Jerry is calling it a Cobra, if I'm not mistaken. But just in case you're wondering about, because I do see this from time to time, people talk about, I don't know how that got twisted up there so much. But people talk about, well, if you clip a carabiner onto your bridge loop, then you lose the ability to set and put tension at a certain spot with with your Prusik knots, right? So what Jerry did for me here on this one, and I'm going to play with it some, is we put a tensioner or friction hitch on the bridge loop here, and now I can clip into this. So instead of clipping directly onto the bridge loop, I clip into this loop, and I missed it there, and now I can slide this up and down the bridge loops if I want it up here. If I don't want it centered out the bridge loop, I can slide up or down. I can do this on both sides, but yet still retain the functionality of an openable bridge. So again, many different ways to skin a cat. I want to show you those real quick and include those in this video because they certainly belong with this project. Guys, we hope that's helped you a whole bunch. If you have any questions on anything in this procedure, let us know. Hopefully we've slowed down enough, showed you this, but it is so nice just being able to open and close your bridge at will, not having to step through it, not having to pull it over your head. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, guys. We'll see you next time.